Pop trunk on your grandma. What's up, everybody? So we're back here working on the Trans Am. So I got my fuel filter mounted up in here. Right here. Got a little gap between the brake line. It's going around the bulkhead. But that's it. Got the little angle fitting there. So it's putting it right back where it needs to go. Going back forward. That's it, all mounted up. Got some 1/4-20 bolts in there. I poked some holes. I just punched some self tappers in there, and then went to the inside and cut out the carpet. And then had old Connor over here go in there and tighten them up whenever I was under here with the creeper. So got that all on there. It's on and tight. Got the fittings made for it. Got the hose cut and fittings made and tightened up. So that's all good to go. Time to go on to the next step. So I got my boost controller here, and I'm just playing around with the electric on it a little bit. I was just this switch comes with it, this comes with it, some wire comes with it, a vacuum T comes with it, and some vacuum hose and some clamps. But I was just going to check to see if the polarity matters on this, because it says in the instructions that there's a blue, which is this, and then a brown wire. There's no brown wire. It's saying to hook the brown wire for a chassis ground and everything, but so I just wanted to make sure the polarity doesn't matter on this, so I'm hooking it up, make sure the switch works and everything. So this is supply or load. This side will be ground, and then I'm using my power probe here to power. So right there is it all hooked up, so I'm going to give it power, and then when I flip the switch, you can hear the boost controller click, the solenoid in there. Let's see if y'all can hear this. So there it is. So that doesn't really matter on polarity. I tried it both ways before I started videotaping. I just thought I'd show y'all this, but I'll go ahead and swap it for y'all. Take it out of the ground onto the switch, put this in the ground, give it some power. Still clicks, solenoid still works. So there it is. So I'm gonna get my blue wire soldered on here and ran inside. I'll actually show y'all where I'm gonna mount this dude up to. So this, I'm wanting to put this where the factory traction control switch is, into the inside these Firebirds. So I already have, it might be kind of dark in here. I grab my flashlight. So I've already got my nitro switches there. The top one is to arm the system, and then the bottom one is launch control. But that traction control switch there, it should pop off of the back, and then this dude right here should fit up in there pretty nicely. It looks a little tacky, this red switch, so I may change it out later. But that's where I think I'm gonna mount that at. And then the boost controller itself is gonna, I already found a spot for it, and it already had a hole in it. That was already perfect size for a 1/4-20 inch bolt, 1/4-20 bolt, and right in here. So I already put a bolt in it, had it mounted earlier, but that right there, so that's tucked back out of the way. You know, I already made sure the hood doesn't affect it at all or anything. And when it's mounted here, I'll be able to run my vacuum hose off of that side to I'm gonna get a distribution block for the boost, the vacuum line, so I have to mount it somewhere. So that's facing to where that can go into the distribution block, and also I can run my wires through that boot back in there, straight into the engine bay for the switch and everything, or to the passenger compartment. So but I think that about covers it. So I'm going to get this dude mounted up and get some wires ran from it, and then give y'all an update on that. Alright, so got the turbo blanket on, heat wrapped the down pipe coming out of there, and then I also wrapped the crossover pipe here because it's touching the transmission a little bit right here. But so got that all wrapped up. Gonna help keep the heat down for sure. Today I am messing with the vacuum distribution block. Got this dude off eBay. Got that capped off. Got all my fittings in here. Got my 5 plugs on here. So one's going to be the boost controller. One's going to be the vacuum reference for the fuel pressure regulator. One from the wastegate. One from the blow-off valve. And then finally one from the boost gauge. So that'll take up all 5. So that'd be perfect. And I could do a bigger one here later, or do another one here later if I wanted to. But just for ease of installation, and it still will probably one of the cleaner options to do. I'm gonna probably end up mounting this dude up in here as well, right up in there, and have all my nipples pointing down right there, and take a Y off the brake booster, and make sure that's all sealed up and go into there, and then that'd be my reference, because that comes right off the back of the intake. And then that'll go to all 5 different little accessories. But there's not too much more space underneath this hood of this thing to put something like this, especially since I'm gonna have to be running 5 hoses from 5 different places. Like, I mean, if I were to put it over here, there'd be so much extra hose running all over the place, or, you know. So I even was considering putting it up underneath the cowling, but you know, there's no way to drill from the bottom. And even if you take this cowling off, the glass starts about here and then it closes off here, so you'd have, like, you couldn't even probably get a drill chuck down in there to drill a hole for mounting or anything, you know. So that's probably where I'm gonna put it. But other than that, I'm waiting on injectors, and that's about it, man. Injectors, and also my oil pressure gauge back there was busted, so I got to get another one of those. And I also, my weld bungs, my aluminum weld bungs for this came in today. They should have, and I'm going to be putting a threaded intake air temperature sensor in there instead of the push-on one. So it's the I believe it's like the 99 to 06, 07 Silverado intake air temps are threaded and have the same plug as these, and they work the same, you know. And so I looked up what that thread size was, and I'm gonna go get one of those, and I ordered the weld bungs. I'll have to get I say bungs because I ordered a set of 2, so I'm gonna have 2 of them welded, TIG welded on there, and plug the other one, and if I ever need it, I'll have it on there. So, but other than that, it's just injectors, that sensor, put the intake back on, and get old Dustin over here to tune this thing, get the E85 map uploaded and all that good stuff. So alright, so the oil switch broke last time I was messing around putting the intake in and stuff, so I had to get a new one. And I had the oil pressure switch for the trucks, but this one's a lot taller, so what I ended up doing is cutting the top out of this dude and opening it up, and it slid down over it just like that, and then I was able to get a 1 1/8 inch socket on it. So that's all tightened down. Now we can get the intake back on it. So I'm about to get the intake back in here, and so I'm going to show y'all what I did here. Kind of ghetto rig some stuff up here, but the map sensor I got in, and I put silicone on the boot, and then I zip tied it as well, just to make sure that it don't ever have no issue with boost pushing out or anything. I doubt it would, but just to be safe. And then I also did this here, went and got a Y and some clamps for the booster hose, and then this is going to run up to my vacuum reference, my boost reference. So the vacuum right here, the vacuum distribution block, I had to change out this barb to fit that size hose, but that's all right. So just got to about to get the intake back in and get all this stuff hooked up for the last time, hopefully, and then I'll do injectors when they come in the car, because I was looking at it and it looks like it'll be pretty simple, pretty easy to do all that in the car. So that is what we're about to do, about to get the intake in.